Cold, snow, respiratory viruses. I understand. And now you're packing for Fuerteventura. Smart, the island that offers 3,000 hours of sunshine a year. We did it ourselves and we loved it. At the same time, there are things that you should avoid or just be aware of. And here comes my top 5 of things not to do while staying there, especially in one of the resorts like Caleta de Fuste or Coralejo. This is a list that is specific for this island, and if you are, for example, going to Gran Canaria or Tenerife, the information may not be relevant. Let's get the first one in. Number 1. Be careful when you make a reservation online, because you may not get what you paid for. I would usually go for an apartment in an area dominated by locals, but in this case, I bought the flight tickets just a week before, so it was there the headache started. I initially reserved directly an apartment through Airbnb, which was, according to the host, unavailable, and that after the transaction had gone through. I was lucky to get my money back in 3 days, but it may take up to 15 if you pay by Visa or MasterCard. Then I talked to other, not very serious hosts who were trying to pass by the booking options on a famous travel platform, and thus dragged me to some shady websites where I should pay for my stay. But remember that if you book, for example on TripAdvisor, you get a buyer protection that's similar to Airbnb. Booking online on property or personal websites is on your own risk. It may take forever to get your money back if something goes wrong. It took my bank, for example, 2 months to dispute a transaction with a travel agency that's called Super Saver Travel, whom you unfortunately may run into if you book flight tickets on skyscanner.com. You should be avoiding them as well. You'll find out why if you follow my channel. Let's get back to the accommodation. I solved the problem booking again online an apartment on a website called stayforlong.com, and that website turned out to be a legit one, though not perfect. A review on that accommodation, Fuerteventura Beach Club, is coming soon as well. Well, if you think that seeing a place on the spot will give you an advantage when booking online, you are wrong. And my next example is a hotel called Castillo Beach Apartments. You may actually pay for something you'll never get, like in our case if you don't raise the voice. You should avoid them, not just because they are the lowest rated hotel in Castillo Caleta de Fuste, not even because of the monster cockroaches that may creep into your bungalow, but mainly because their service sucks and the attitude to clients of both receptionists and manager are well below standard, in my opinion. The whole story will be again on my channel soon. It's a lot coming up, so press that punch that subscribe button now, hit it hard. I don't do cheesy travel vlogs, rather report on what I see and encounter firsthand and present it to you guys. Number 2. Do not rely on the public transportation, because it is, well, bad. It's the second largest island, but development is quite restrained compared to its neighbors Gran Canaria and Tenerife. The public transportation is not an exclusion of the rule by any means. As you probably know, there are no train connections anywhere on the Canary Islands because of the mountainous terrain. There was actually a proposed railway on Gran Canaria, which should connect the capital, Las Palmas, with the airport, all the way down to San Bartolomé de Tirajana. It hasn't become a reality yet, though it's almost 20 years old project, because as I understand, the Canary government couldn't cover the funding. That's estimated exceeding 1.6 billion euros. So the only mean of long-distance public transportation on the island is the bus. The bus service on Fuerteventura is unfortunately below standard, with delays and buses that never come. There are many bad reviews on Google and other tourist websites. We ourselves experienced it as quite doubtful when it comes to reliability. Already at our first trip, we were required to pay by cash, and when my wife actually tried to pay with 50 euros banknote, the driver told her literally, "You will never be riding these buses if you show up with a 50 euros banknote." which I think was kinda rude, although he then showed kindness by exchanging the money with his own. But you cannot determine what kind of banknotes you will get from those Euronet ATMs that on top of all are ripping you off. Neither should you be required to carry cash at all times in the 21st century in the middle of pandemic. Apart from that, the time lost waiting at their bus stations for a handful of chips could be measured in hours. The top of it all was waiting on FV2 bus stop for an hour and a half, a bus to Caleta de Fuste that never showed up, so I had to order a taxi to come and pick me up all the way. It was actually done by a Spanish guy that I met at the bus stop, who himself had been there for at least 40 minutes before I came. I am talking about this in my trekking through the mountain video, don't miss it. It was a very uplifting, very interesting experience. Number 3. Avoid big grocery shopping in the resort areas because they tend to be expensive, as you can expect, and sometimes charging at least 30% more than the supermarkets in the industrial areas. Now, there were 3 hyperdinos in Castillo Caleta de Fuste, of which the one in the center was best stuffed. It was even the cheapest of them, so the price was varying even within the same chain of supermarkets. It's still a better choice than the slightly overpriced British food markets for small shopping, but when everything is closed, it will be the Brits who will save the day. Now, if you want to save money and find more items at low prices, you have to do your shopping in the industrial areas, where you can find chains like Mercadona and Lidl, considerably lower prices, fresh groceries, fish and seafood. That's the best choice, no doubt. Mercadona has ever since been my favorite supermarket chain in Spain since the first time we made it to Gran Canaria. Unfortunately, you would need a car, as these areas are usually at a distance from resort areas and the public transportation is, as you heard already, not the most reliable in the world. Make even sure that these stores are open certain dates, especially on holidays and weekends. Otherwise, you risk ending up in the desert with the whole family and with empty shopping bags walking back home, which can turn into a great adventure, by the way, if you are the right type. But if not, check schedules, working hours, consider renting a car. If you wonder about which company you should rent a car from, watch my next videos where I'm exploring villages in the island with a rented car. There you can find out more about the situation with these services, because conditions there have changed dramatically also due to the pandemic. Number 4. Don't drink tap water. You can end up in emergency with travelers diarrhea. That's common sense in the subtropical areas, but one think that because it's a developed country like Spain, it's all safe. Well, it's not. Remember that even by only drinking bottled water, you can still contract the disease. So be careful with what you're eating as well. Like, for example, avoid raw, undercooked meals which may be contaminated. If you feel any symptom, the biggest hospital nearby is in Puerto del Rosario. Emergency visit will be free of cost for you, who is a new citizen and can present an European health insurance card to the reception. So don't forget, order your card from the respective authority in your home country before traveling to Spain. I hope and wish that you will never ever need it, but be smart, be prepared. Otherwise, the hospital in Puerto del Rosario offers a great healthcare, which I had experienced firsthand. Though to be honest, I had low expectations comparing everything else to the more developed islands of the archipelago. That wasn't the case. Very professional stuff indeed. Remember though that you may need to wait, especially in emergency. And yeah, just to save you the headache, the urgencia entry is from the rear side of the hospital. Number 5. Don't take with you only light clothes when staying in Fuerteventura, particularly during the winter season. And by light, I don't mean clothes in light colors. You may take as much of these as you want, but I mean clothes for warm weather only. While staying at these bungalow resorts, I have been guys seeing the same picture over and over again. Families who just checked in, rushing to the swimming pools in bathing suits, children jumping into the cold water. Well, this is a matter of personal choice, but you have to remember that this water is cold as the water in the ocean. We changed 2 hostels and the water was like that, and I doubt that you would find a warm pool somewhere outside. Maybe if you go for some premium accommodation, yeah, probably. But in general, they just don't bother, because the temperatures at night in the winter are as low as like 12-14 degrees Celsius. It feels cold in the bungalows as well, and there are no heaters or district heating, like for example in continental Europe. We actually ended up in a colder apartment on the Canary Islands at night compared to our apartment in Sweden in the winter. Can you believe that? You may need thick blankets, so make sure you have enough when you check in. Don't get a winter jacket. Wait, don't get your winter jacket, but get one that's windproof, especially if you plan to go on an adventure. Those winds are hard, and if you are high in the mountain, they tend to be very serious. Watch my trekking video, that will be soon uploaded. You'll see what I'm talking about. The days in the winter are warm as long as it's sunny, but cloudy and windy weather equals long sleeve clothing. Going out for dinner, long sleeve jersey or jacket or both. Well, these are my top 5 no's. I hope I've helped you on the way to Fuerteventura. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. This is guys so important for the channel. Feel free to subscribe. For all of you watching to the end, here is a bonus. One more not to do, which is number 6. Do you watch football? Are you a football fan? Then don't forget to pack your favorite football team's jersey. The resorts are literally full of sports bars, and fans are walking around in their football team jerseys all the time. I've probably seen the most of the Premier League, plus Rangers and Celtic and so on. And if you, for example, support a more unknown team like myself, the 10 times champions of Bulgaria, people will be curious. A good point to start a chat. Meet interesting people to get a beer with. So enjoy your vacation, don't miss my next videos. Thank you guys, bye bye.